Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. It is Flag Day. It is a scavenger hunt. I also want to look at the charity quilt binding, and then what am I going to do with the fabrics I have left. So I want to talk about that. So first, let's do the scavenger hunt, okay? So today we do once a month. I do a scavenger hunt, and what that means is you go out for the topic and the item I tell you and find it in your space, take a picture of it and share it over at my community Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. So today we're going to take and you're going to find all of your yardsticks. I think Laura Half Pint suggested this. She's one of our ambassadors, and I think that it was her idea. She said, let's do yardsticks. I've shown you this one before. The Minnesota Fabrics, Fabric Mart, Hancock's. I had the Minnesota Fabrics. That was actually in my plaza here where I live. Like, I could walk to it. I don't think I was quilting then. I was making clothing, and so I would go in and buy some stuff to do clothing. But I know a lot of you have worked at these stores, have great memories, and so if you also have a yardstick from them, show it. The other one is a vintage yardstick that it was from Evans & Company, Newark, New Jersey. I have no idea who they are. I bought it off of Etsy, I think, because red, everything red. It's a red yardstick. It looks like Bakelite. I'm sure it is not Bakelite because it doesn't have any kind of smell, but it's a really neat plastic. So I love it. You'll see it sometimes in photos that I do for a sew along. I might show it in there. There we go. All expanded. So let's see your yardsticks today. All right, it is Flag Day, and I don't know if other countries have a Flag Day. We have a Flag Day here in the United States, but if you have a flag quilt that you have made, no matter what country you are in, I would love to see it over in our community page, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. So let me show you a few of mine. I have put flags on a zillion things. I have made quite a few patriotic quilts. A lot of them have flags. So let's first look at the one that I have hanging here. This is called Lakeside. And Lakeside has the flag with the sailboat, and there's stars on the top. Now you'll notice on this one there are 5 stars on the middle one. That happens to be the first block that I made, and then I decided I am not doing 5 stars on all of them. We can have 3. That'll be plenty. So I did 3. This one also has a fun backstory because when I had this at the trade show, which this was quite a long time ago, like 2002. When I had it at the trade show, Fonz and Porter had seen it, and they were doing their television show. They were still the hosts of it back then. And so their people called me and asked, could they borrow the sailboat quilt? You know, a flag and sailboat quilt. They didn't even know the name of it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. They wanted to borrow it for the television show. So I'm like, sure, that's great. When do you need it? And they told me the date, and I was like, ooh, can I call you back? So I ran over to Greg, and I'm like, you know, I've already promised this quilt to somebody else. So what does Greg say? Make another quilt. So I actually have 2 of these. This one is needle turned. It's hand appliqued, the sailboats and the stars. The second one is machine appliqued, but they're basically identical besides that, because I still had the fabric. I had just made it. I still had most of the fabric. I didn't have to substitute much. So the other one that was done by machine went off to visit on their show, and this one went to the shop or whoever that I had promised it could go visit. So I think they also published it in their magazine, so you may have seen it there way back when. It is a pattern now on my website, on my digital store, so I will link you in the description box below. Other things that I've made, I'm going to show you one when we go on the back side of the table too, but I did a free pattern with just flags, and I've done these several times. I finally published it. So here's one that's just just simple flags with some sashing, and you can download that for free. And the Fat Quarter Shop did a really cute table runner one year, and so I made that, and it's free as well. I love it because the flags are waving, So you could do a whole quilt of these. The pattern is just to do the table runner, but of course if you just repeat this, you'll have a lap quilt. Wouldn't that be darling? And I love the waving flag. I think that's super cool. And there's always Americana fabrics that fit for the flags. I know a lot of you Canadians do flags on your quilts. I'm not sure about the other countries. I don't see those as often, but I would love to, if you have a flag of your country on a quilt, that you share it today. Okay, now let's go over and take a look at the charity quilt, because I'm getting ready to put the binding on, and I thought I would walk through. I shared a picture on the Facebook group on the other day, I forget what day it was, to see what people thought, what binding color you wanted. So I want to walk through how I approach that. So let's go to the other side of the table. First, while we're here, let's start with another one of my flag quilts. I have other ones, but let's start at this one, because this was one that I was commissioned by a quilt shop that did a lot of block of the months called Quakertown Quilts. They're retired. They've not been around for a long time, but I did this for them also way back, and they wanted something very patriotic, but that also was monthly, you know, so that's a fun combination. I have a snowman with a flag, I have hearts with a flag, you know, spring basket, a crockery, my sailboat again, a watermelon, sunflower, the eagle, a pie, a house, a pumpkin, and a crow with holly. So this is Folk Art America. It is one of my all-time favorites. I love the setting, and this one happens to be blanket stitched by hand. You know, I was doing a lot of travel, so that was easy for me to be able to do this in the car on travel. And this is also in my digital store, Folk Art America. Okay, let's take a look at the quilt. I've got it all trimmed and ready to go. This is the Make-A-Wish charity quilt done with the Fat Quarter Shop that Gina Tell quilted. So let me just show you. You can see her quilting there. We picked out a nice sort of heart that is, I think you can see it there. Yeah, so it's like sort of elongated hearts, sort of maybe graffiti style. It's super cute. So there are a lot of colors in here. There is navy and aqua and green and pinks and yellows, and I have in blues and navies, and I have a whole stack of the fabrics. These are all Benartex fabrics. Okay, so the designer is Chorus Quilts, so that's Shelley Kavanaugh. Yeah, so these are her fabric. This is her fabric line called The Gathering, I believe it is. And I've linked you to that during this whole process. So now I need to pick out a binding. And first of all, I'm going to look at what did I have enough of and that had color. So these are the ones that have color that I have enough of. You know, I'm not big on doing a white binding. I've not really thought about that. I have a bunch that are here. Like this is really cute, but I would be really scrounging to get enough of it. Happens to be what's right there, isn't it? Oh, also the backing fabric is this one. Okay, so that for some people that's important. That's what I heard while you were. It's not important to me what the backing fabric is for the binding. The binding is important to me for the front, not for the back. But some of you, it's very important for the back what the fabric is and what your binding would be. Because maybe if you're putting it on a bed, you know, that would be the case. So there's a lot here that are just not enough fabric. There's also ones that are super light. Like this doesn't interest me to use it as the binding. I just, you know, I want something that has a bit more oomph to it. The navy here with these little prints, there's just not enough of those left. So this whole group, I'm just going to sit aside for the moment. I also have the label, so this label will go in the corner. I have a tutorial on triangle labels, so that's what this one will do. It will just sit in there. And then I have the hanging sleeve that I will put on, which is the same fabric. So it would just blend in that way. If the person who bids and wins this at auction for Make-A-Wish, if they don't want to hang it, it will just blend in. You're not going to see it at all. So those two things I have here on the side because they have to be attached while I'm doing the binding. This will go, and the binding will go on top of it, and same with the long edge of the hanging sleeve. It will go on the edge, and then I will hand stitch the bottom part down. And I have just put in the search bar like I showed you, hanging sleeve, and you'll see that stuff. Okay, so what would I do? I don't care about the back personally, so I'm looking at the front. One of the interesting things about this quilt is even though there is green in it, like this green is used, there's not much green. There's not a lot of green. Now the green actually looks fantastic with the backing because there is green stems in there, and the green and pink are a really good combo. But for me, since I look at the front, the green I'm going to reject. So that one will be gone. Now I have these three. The navy is really dark. Like if I was going to go navy, I would probably prefer this one because of so much white for the base of this quilt. I would prefer this navy over this one. I have a lot of this one, and I would just have to squeak it out of this one. It would be a little hard with the print to get that out of there. So that leaves me with these two, the aqua and the raspberry. This is like a raspberry. It's not really red. It goes, of course, marvelous with the back. So if you are a person that thinks about that, the aqua doesn't go as marvelous with the back. Let me just pull this up here. So the aqua on the back is, it's not doing it. So this is the raspberry. Looks really good. Raspberry looks really good on the front to me. So ding, ding, ding. This is it. I will be using the raspberry to put everything on, to put the binding on. Okay, now what do I do with all of this? Now I will look through here because I don't need to keep this in a stack anymore. So hold on a second. So that's one of the things that came up the other day, like what do you do with, you have the whole stack and it's, you're done with the project, you disperse those pieces, you still keep them together because there's enough of it to do something else. So one, I'm not going to make anything else with these. I mean, once I'm done with a fabric line like this, I'm done. I just want to move on. So for me, what I will do is just take a look here again, and I will go through them and see if there are pieces that are more tonal, more generic that I will keep, or something that I super, super love. So that could be like really, really crazy. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. I mean, they are gorgeous fabrics, but I won't need to keep all of them. I will give them to my friend that does charity quilts. So there is, of the light background, there is a small piece. Oh no, here's another one. I thought there was more. So there's enough of the lights. I generally keep the lights, which is probably why I have so many dang lights. I have too many lights, but I'll probably do it again. I need to do the binding from that. Now the aqua is one of these that's kind of generic. I do like this small blue. I do like these bigger chunks here. And I did like this raspberry from that small print. Okay, now from this next grouping, these are probably ones that I will just stick that over there. Probably move out. Now I don't know. I have to look at my yellow. I'm going to put that in the maybe, because that I might need that shade of yellow. Well, I'll see what I have. So there's backing. So light. Now this is another one where it's that tiny print, and I kind of like that. I will check and see what my blue is. Now pink, same deal. I might actually look at keeping all the pink. I have to see how much pink that I have. Okay, and so I'm going to let all of these go. So this is the definitely go group, and this is the maybe group. I have to just look at what I already own to see if I really need to keep it or not. And then I'm going to keep these bigger pieces, because they really could come in handy. And I really love this deep navy. All right, there we go. It is, It's always interesting to walk through. Now I have a less of an attachment. I personally could just get rid of all of these and give it to my friend. I could just give her the whole stack. I don't really need to keep any of it. I have a lot of different fabrics, you know, so, but the bigger ones I tend to like to keep because sometimes there's that time where it's like, I could use a side thing, I could use sashing, and then here I've already got that great green in about a 1 yard chunk. I think it's a 1 yard piece still, so that's a pretty big piece. But my friend who does charity quilts and with organizations, they definitely can use all of this, whatever I give to them. So I am going to cut strips of strawberry, or raspberry, I'm sorry, they're raspberry. It's a berry of some sort. Okay, it's Flag Day. Please share your flag quilts. There is my Folk Art America with lots of flags. If you've made this one, share it. If you've made my lakeside or made my other flag quilt, please share it. I think it's called Glory Days. And then for the scavenger hunt, let's see your yardsticks. All right, my friend. Mwah. I love you. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.